performance of the night came in Brooklyn. Kevin Durant could only watch in attendance his first game as a Net.
Just look at this. Their entire team was rushing back, and he's just kind of like, what are you guys doing? 1, 2, 3. He called all 3 of them out on that play.
Kyrie had 25 in the first half. Third quarter now. Nets continue to make a run. Razzle, dazzle, Kyrie Irving.
I don't know what else there is to say. Like, the kid, he has no offensive flaws. The way he can play, the way he can handle. You look at this, he takes his time. He's like, okay, this is going to be one-on-one. I'm going to get the shot that I want. And look, the crowd is standing up. Everyone's cheering because he literally did this for 48 minutes last night.
That's a step-back 3. Kyrie with 43 points as the game goes to overtime. And so we had a thriller. Now let's get to how the game is decided, because Kyrie had a huge night, but this is a good game. In the OT, Irving, again, for 3. No, but an offensive rebound. They get another chance. Kyrie, yes, he's got 48 points.
Yeah, great shooters, great scorers have short memories, right? He misses that one, he just tees it up. But here we have they had a chance to go early. And look, only Kyrie can fall down, roll over, get the ball up, and still get a shot. Watch this. Only Kyrie Irving in NBA history can do this and have the ball and be able to get this shot. Now, yes, he did not make it, but there's only one person in the world that can do that.
Timberwolves win by 1. Kyrie scores 50.
Just a Jersey kid playing for his home team. It's nothing like it. This has been brewing since I was in 4th grade. I didn't know it was going to happen at this point or this age, but it's here, and I just want to take full advantage of it and just be happy.
What does it mean to you to get 50 in this situation?
The job wasn't done, so that 50 just goes into just another few numbers that, it holds value, but not really when you don't get a win.
So Kyrie not that impressed, but what he did last night was historic. According to Elias, his 50 points yesterday were the most by a player in a team debut in NBA history. You see Kiki Vandeweghe and Wilt Chamberlain also on the screen. So with Kevin Durant not going to play this year, is this what we should expect Brooklyn to look like pretty much? And I should point out that you do the game. You did the game last night, and you do a number of the Nets games on yes. So is this what you were expecting this team to look like basically all year?
Well, not 58-7. And again, we're going to talk about he didn't even have a turnover. So, he was all over the place. But the Nets have a lot of talent, right? And it's not going to be just Kyrie. Part of the reason why, the Brooklyn Nets, the Clippers, were very attractive to free agents this summer is because there's other talent there. You're talking about Spencer Dinwiddie. You're talking about Jared Allen, Karis LeVert. But Kyrie is going to be the focal point. He's going to be the guy that makes this engine, go in this car. It's going to be impressive.
So listen, he was brilliant. He scored 50, and he made it one of the most interesting season openers I can ever remember. That said, let's talk about the decision on the last play. We'll set the stage for you. They were down 1. There were 12 seconds left in overtime. They had a lot of options.
Yes.
And what they chose to do was put the ball in his hands and run the clock down.
And one of the things that I was told is that this is happening more often. You're just going to go for the win. They had one timeout, so they could have gone, but they decided, and again, Kyrie's got 50. There was nothing about this game and the way he played that made this a bad decision, but it was a very unique one and a very rare one to, down by 1 with the timeout to hold for the last shot.
Again, the option there, take a quick shot. You still have time to foul if you don't make it, whatever it is, but maybe sometimes I'm just trying to put myself in the mentality. He was so hot all night long. Let's win or lose on his last shot.
And also, this is the first game of the year. If you're talking about having guys have to play 50 minutes when you've been playing 20 minutes in the preseason, there could be fatigue, there could be injuries, there's a lot of things that happen. So if you're like, hey, we're going to go for it all in this game, and in that moment, and look, he still got off a good shot.
Kyrie Irving, welcome to Brooklyn. 50 points in his debut, but they fall by 1 in overtime. To football we go next, where 42-year-old Tom Brady has continued to play at a high level for the Patriots, who are 7-0. And Brady has on multiple occasions said he hopes to play until he's 45. But speaking before his game on Monday night, Adam Schefter, you brought up the notion that Brady could be nearing the end of his time in New England. Brady was asked about that yesterday on WEEI.
For me, football at this point is all borrowed time. I never expected to play 20 years, and I'm playing on a great team, and, it's just been an incredible 20 years of my life. One day I'll wake up and I feel like, okay, that'll be enough. And it'll be after this year, I don't know if it'll be 5 years from now.
Okay, so Shefty is with us here, and Obviously, you said that on Monday night. A lot of people had a strong reaction, and I know it was important to you to point out you weren't reporting that he's leaving. You were just pointing out the obvious circumstances. He has a deal that will void at the end of the year. He's selling his house. His trainer is selling his house. What can you tell us about your thoughts?
Well, these are his decisions, correct? These are acts that he's put into motion. And I don't think he knows how it's going to play out after this year. But I think there's a possibility that this is his last season in the NFL. It's a possibility it's his last season with New England. It's his possibility that he just moves on and goes somewhere else. He doesn't know how it's going to turn out. We don't know how it's going to turn out. But again, just look at the basic facts. And that's what I said. If he's selling his house, his trainer's selling his house, and he's voiding his contract, doesn't that tell you something? Something?
D. Wood, you played with him. You know the circumstances there. You know the inner workings of the organization to a degree. Do you think if Tom Brady left New England, it would be to retire, or do you think there is any real chance he plays for another team?
Oh, I definitely think there's a chance. We've always heard, I think everyone at the table have heard, is it Belichick or is it Brady? Mm-hmm. And I think, a lot of times with everyone, there's some sort of ego attached to that. So if I'm Brady, as much as my legacy is tied to New England, wouldn't you be tempted to try to test that to see which side we can answer that question?
It goes back to, you can say it for both sides, because it appeared that Belichick wanted to move on from Brady and maybe win some championship with Jimmy Garoppolo and show that it wasn't just Brady. So I can imagine that Brady probably fantasizes about getting to another situation, winning the Super Bowl there, or dismantling a Belichick-led defense and showing how good he really is.
Yeah, to me, Brady's playing with house money. So at this point, it doesn't really matter what he does. Now, if you're Brady and you're 42, going on however old he is,
he will be 43 next season.
If you're going to be 43, I don't see why leave, because realistically speaking, you're going to go up and beat Belichick and the defense that they have and the youth that they still have.
Right? Like, he's Tom Brady. He thinks, and he probably can do something like that.
And we're all talking about it from a football perspective, but sometimes it's a personal perspective too. Yep. He's done this for 20 years. Yep. He's married. He's got children. They have needs and desires and wants.
And I think the personal perspective also stretches to that locker room. Like, I haven't been in a locker room like you, Damien, but like, I'm around the league and I hear that being a part of a Belichick-led team isn't always a great experience. You might win and you may go on to get a big contract elsewhere, but guys are kind of relieved when they get out of there sometimes.
Well, I mean, he's been there too long for that to be the mindset, right? He's 42 years old and he's won 6 championships, so things have worked out pretty well for him there. And as far as the whole Brady or Belichick thing, forgive me for saying that's the most ridiculous question in the entire world. This is the most successful run in the history of a sport that's been around for 100 years. You don't do that with one person. You do it because they're both the best at what they do. It was the perfect marriage of the best coach and the best quarterback who happened to be on the same team at the same time for 2 decades.
Agreed, but the egos are monstrous. Right. And whether you think it's a ridiculous question or not, it's something that I can imagine. If you're the greatest of all time, there is one white whale left to beat. Maybe it is beating your own mentor.
I'll just say this. The notion that Tom Brady would go someplace else and play there at the age of 43 is ludicrous. No, it is ludicrous.
No.
You don't think it's ludicrous? No. I don't mean that he would do it. I don't mean that I say there's no chance he'd do it. I mean the notion of doing it would be crazy.
Greeny.
He's going to go to Chicago now and try and win a championship.
You're talking about
44 years old.
You're talking about 2 alphas, okay? 2 alphas, and I'm telling you right now, that question is something that a lot of people ask about and don't think that it doesn't play in their minds at some point. They haven't heard it throughout their career.
The kicker is, D. Wood, to Greeny's point, if Brady does leave, nobody wins. Belichick doesn't win, Brady doesn't win, and the fact of the matter is, what do you get out of it? Because think about, at least me being the young buck on the thing, I respect the Dirk Nowitzkis, the Kobe Bryants, the people that you see that stayed in one place and dominated that whole time. What does Brady win by leaving?
What's going to change? There's nothing left for him to gain in New England potentially. Winning 7 titles isn't going to make us think any more highly of him.
That is
true.
If
he goes somewhere else and wins a championship and gets past Belichick, and that it's something, it matters.
Final word on this, Shefty.
I would just say, look, there are 3 options, right? He's either staying in New England, he's retiring, or he's going to go play somewhere else. I would think of those 3. That staying in New England, to me, would seem like the least likely option of the 3. But we'll see.
The least likely option of the 3.
I think he could go any which way. I think all 3 are in play. But I think it'd be more likely that he would retire or even perhaps move on than it would be to stay in New England. We'll see.
Wow. Okay.
Shefty bomb.
We'll begin with something I wasn't expecting to hear. Let's get to another quarterback. Here's something else I wasn't expecting to hear.